You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. Well, another day, another portal get for LSU. Happened Tuesday night, and the biggest one to date, Nic Anderson, Oklahoma wide receiver, picks LSU over Texas A&M. My goodness. This is, I got to tell you about Nic Anderson, and I want to tell you what it means for the roster for 25 and all that good stuff. But this is the biggest portal get so far for LSU. There are 2,000 players in the transfer portal right now. 2,000. He's ranked 10th. One of, if not the absolute best receiver in the portal. 6'4", 220. Can fly. Big physical receiver. True, legit, number one dynamic game breaker. Boom. Got him. And you beat Texas A&M for him. You take him from Oklahoma, SEC school. You prevent him from going to A&M, SEC school, both of whom you play next year. And you got him on your roster. Another target for Nussmeier. Massive. I want to talk a little bit more about that in a second. But before I go any further, I want to remind you, 2 weeks ago at this very moment, Wednesday, December the 4th, right about 3:05, I'm sitting in this chair 2 weeks ago today talking to you. And there was a lot of people who weren't feeling awesome. Bryce Underwood signed with Michigan. Jakeem Stewart picked USC. The day before signing day, Cade Phillips, 5-star corner, flipped to Texas. And a lot of people in these parts, you know who you are, and I'm not pointing the finger, I'm just reminding you. A lot of people in these parts were not too thrilled with the roster, with Brian Kelly, the direction, NIL, all of it. How you feel today? Huh? How you feel today? You feel better today than you did 2 weeks ago? It's all right. You can acknowledge it. And I want to be clear about something too. I'm not sitting here. This ain't about like this ain't a backpack. This isn't a scone victory lap. I'll have time for that later. You know I will when I can. But what I want to reiterate today, because it's so important in this moment to say it and to continue to say it, because it's going to be part of the path forward. I used the phrase on signing day, fiscal responsibility. Y'all, it sucked watching Bryce Underwood flip to Michigan. It sucked watching Jakeem Stewart, a 5-star from New Orleans, who we'd all salivated over for 3 years, go to SC. It sucked watching Cade Phillips flip to Texas on the eve of signing day. All of that was awful. Didn't feel good. But damn near anything in life that was worth anything took a bit of sacrifice. It took a little bit of pain. You want to get in great shape? Waking up at 5 a.m. to go work out when everybody else is sleeping, that ain't fun. When everybody else is eating cake and drinking beer and you're eating salad and drinking water, that ain't fun. But it's the necessity of reaching your end goal. And what we talked about on signing day was fiscal responsibility. Not depriving yourself of anything, but avoiding excess. Paying $2 million for Jakeem Stewart was excess. I want to remind you, the number one defensive lineman in the country for 2024 was L.J. McCray. 5-star, top 10 player in the country, signed with Florida. As a true freshman, L.J. McCray had 12 tackles and a half a sack. And that's a guy that had played a full high school career. Dominic McKinley, 5-star, number one player in Louisiana. Had some really nice moments. Was Dominic McKinley worth being the highest paid player on your team in 2024? No. Rarely will a freshman ever be that. So LSU wisely said, we love the player, but we're going to push away from the table because we have this whole thing budgeted. We know what we feel you're worth, and we're not going over it. And as a result of doing that with Underwood, with Jakeem Stewart, with Cade Phillips, you know what that did? That gave LSU about $2 million. That's the number I've been told. About $2 million in extra funds for this portal cycle right now, which they already had budgeted. They already had money budgeted for this portal cycle. And because they were willing to walk away, because they were willing to use restraint with those kids, those 3 players I just mentioned, they added $2 million to the coffers for this portal cycle. How you feel right now? You've added 9 players out of the portal. A year ago, the highest rated player out of the portal that you got was C.J. Daniels, who was ranked number 101. 7 guys currently in this portal class are in the top 100. Yo, they're all inside the top 150. And you're not done. You still got to address offensive line. We're still waiting on the Braylon Moore announcement. I'm told that they will sign an offensive tackle. They're going to add safety help. They're not done. They're not done. Nic Anderson's a huge piece of this. We talked about the receivers that LSU had up until this point. And we talked about it with Destin Hill. The numbers in the receiving room are good. At 11 guys. What you didn't have was a big-bodied game breaker. The biggest wide receiver before Nic Anderson was Barry Brown, 6'1", from Kentucky. And I love Barry Brown. He is explosive. He is exciting to watch. But Aaron Anderson's 5'9". Xavier Thomas is 5'9". Chris Hilton's 6 foot. Nic Anderson, 6'4", 220. Someone asked a comp. It's Brian Thomas. Look at him. He's 6'4", 220, can fly. He averaged 21 yards a reception at Oklahoma 2 seasons ago. He missed this year with a quad injury that lingered, and they ultimately shut him down for the year. Now you've got the best quarterback in the conference for 2025, and you have the best wide receiver core in the conference. I think Ryan Williams is the best receiver, but best receiving core, top to bottom, that's in Baton Rouge now. Now go solidify your offensive line, and you may have the best offense not only in the conference but in the country. You're going to be right there in that mix. Massive get. And it continues to underscore the patience, the restraint, the discipline that Brian Kelly and Austin Thomas and Frank Wilson and this whole staff has shown throughout building this 2025 roster is being rewarded. And they're not done. Oh, they're not done. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.